like that.
I think so. If I could grow a beard, I would, but I can't, so I'd just stick with this mustache.
Oh, you can't? Is it?
It's not good at all.
Oh, really?
Not at all. Yeah.
One time I had a really long. I left it. I was very depressed, and I just didn't shave for like 3 months, and it was bad. It was really bad. And I met Alyssa like for the first time less than a week after I shaved, and she was like, "If I had met you with that, it would have tainted the entire thing." And so I could have totally ruined the whole thing.
What was does your beard fill in good? What did it look like after not shaving for that much?
Not good. I mean, like it wasn't like patchy.
Right.
It was just like growing like full. It didn't grow in like a full thing.
Right.
I guess is what I can say. It grew in like hair.
Yeah.
Not like a like
like
it
a
grew
beard.
in like
yeah.
almost. I'm trying to remember. It might have grown in like somewhere between like a regular beard and like pubes on my face, like somewhere in between there, like the like texture quality of it wasn't good. I was like 23, 24.
The only problem I've ever had with beard is that mine grows in pretty evenly, is that because I have some blonde hair and some brown hair, like my facial hair tends to grow in that way. It doesn't look that way when it's short, but when it comes in, when there's more of it, it looks sort of blonde in some spots, and it just doesn't look great. But I can't go clean shaven now. I have to do this in between thing because I feel like clean shaven, I don't like the way I look anymore. So I have like this, I have to keep it this way. So, shave talk. It's
Shave
August.
talk.
Let's go. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. We did have that place that reached out about sponsoring the pod. The thing that shaves your pubes. The I think it's called the lawnmower or something. They asked about sponsoring the pod. It's a pube shaver thing.
Wow.
But they are not sponsoring the pod. So sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. And brought to you by Body Bio. Get 20% off any Body Bio product with code RTRS20 at bodybio.com. Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. And LL Pavorsky Jewelers, where Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners go and get engaged, as well as Kinetic Skateboarding. Get 9.1% off your first order with promo code Dave Silver. There's nothing going on. So on the show today, and Ask Me Anything, we posted an Ask Me Anything question in both the Sixers Reddit and the Ricky Reddit, and we will answer them in order of most upvoted. I think I did it that way. I just sorted it by best and went from the top down. So we'll get to as many as we can. As I continue to remind you, you can sign up for the Rights to Ricky Sanchez Bark in the Park team. We are raising money for Providence Animal Center as we do every year. The event is on October 22nd at Rose Tree Park. We're up to $4,482 raised, and we have 39 people on the team. We'd like to have 100 people on the team and raise a record $16,000. If you join the team, you raise $50. You get the Ricky shirt, which is Rebel playing basketball on the moon, designed by one Todd Purse. You raise $100, you get the Providence Animal Center shirt. And we thank our big sponsors for the run team. That is Mortgage CS, LL Pavorsky Jewelers, Body Bio, DraftKings, and Briggs Auction. You can go to rightstoRickySanchez.com to sign up. And a happy 20th anniversary to Kinetic Skateboarding, who celebrated that yesterday. 20 years of having your own independent business is fucking really hard, and you have to like build a real relationship with your customers to do that. And we've talked about LL a bunch, but Kinetic being in business for now over 20 years is really, really awesome. Ben and everyone in Kinetic has been great to us, and they've got great shit. They reprinted some of the first shirts they ever did, which you can get from Kinetic now, along with all the other stuff they sell there, all the t-shirts, all the shorts, all the sneakers, all that stuff, as well as skateboarding gear. Go to kineticskateboarding.com and use promo code Dave Silver for 9.1% off your first order. Congratulations to Kinetic. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. 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 I say the name. I say the name. Say the name.
Rights to Ricky Sanchez forever.
Welcome to the Rights Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who is one with CJ in mustache solidarity. That is one, Mike Levin.
That's right. I take all my cues in life and fashion from CJ.
From CJ. And Tom Selleck.
This is who I am now. Well, I have ways to go before I'm Selleck, but I think this is just a couple days. I was at a friend's birthday party last night, and then I got home and remembered that every conversation I had, I was having that conversation as a mustache person. It was not, I wasn't thinking that like consciously as I was talking. And then I was like, that kind of colors the things I was saying.
Maybe a Magnum PI style t-shirt with you and CJ on it. Maybe I could get Tanner on that.
My dad would buy it, and that would be nice for him, and that would be it. Maybe CJ's girlfriend's dad also.
Maybe.
And then we do a Magnum PI style t-shirt of my dad and CJ's girlfriend's dad wearing those t-shirts.
Yep. Absolutely. That'd be a huge seller. Absolutely.
That's the inception of t-shirts.
Yep.
A lot of levels to it.
So there's nothing going on. There's no real updates from anywhere from Sixers land. So it is the perfect time for an Ask Me Anything. We posted the opportunity to ask questions both in the Sixers Reddit and the newly found Ricky Reddit. And I sorted both by best. I assume that is top rated from each one or most upvoted. And we will go down and answer as many as possible. The first one is from the Ricky Reddit. It comes from Straight Garbanzo Bean. He says, he or she, I don't know, what are Mike's top 5 process players who didn't pan out? Spike can answer, but more interested in Mike's.
Top 5. Always, and also hard to always discern what is the process era specifically. Like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about just in that hinky mode, or just like sort of the whole sort of vibe around it?
I think this is all, there's very few that I think probably would be the last 4 or 5 years anyway, except for Zaire, right? I mean, Zaire would probably be in your top 5, I would think.
Sure.
I don't know,
and
right?
And he's still very young, not ruling out that he won't work out still.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to pull up the shirt.
Okay.
Let me see.
I mean, KJ McDaniels would have been a great one to work out.
For sure.
He was pretty high on the list, I think, for all of us.
All right, let's see.
You were on Jonah Bolden's ship for a while, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you were doing it because somebody had to or if you were really into it, but he was one that you continually believed in.
No, for sure. I like the idea of a switchable small ball 5 that we've never had that could shoot.
Loves crypto.
Yes, and the fact that he loves crypto, I think, helped me a lot. That's what I'm into. Definitely not Arnett Moultrie. Always hated Arnett Moultrie. Doug Collins trading a first-round pick to trade up to 27 to draft Arnett Moultrie always killed me. I'll never forget it. Royce White was a bummer. Also, now the fact that he's like very right wing, did you see that? He's a Steve Bannon guy now.
He got addicted, I think, to internet attention and is doing whatever he can to, he was actually right about a lot of things, I think. At the onset. And then he's, the basketball thing didn't work out, and now he's doing whatever he can. So.
No, it's not very good. It's not very good. I loved Earl Clark.
Oh, yeah, you
Earl
did.
Clark.
You did. Yep.
He should have been better. Let's see. Still looking, scrolling. KJ's definitely there. I mean, Hollis did work out. That's not gonna Not going to deny that.
Did
Not
it?
for a second. Let's see.
I mean, Tony Roten is.
Yeah, Roten is. I mean, like he had.
I guess the question is, what does workout mean?
I know, like
because
he had
played
one
a lot.
season where he averaged like what, 14 points a game. What's the most
something like
Tony
that.
Roten averaged in the NBA? What do we think? Guess.
I bet it's higher than 14. I bet it's like 15.7 or something.
Let's see. Yeah, his third year he averaged 16.9 points per game
There you go.
and
yeah.
5.2 assists.
Yeah. So it was going to work out as much as it could have, It would have been nice, as Philly Insider Podcast says, if Nick Stauskas had worked out, given the trade, would have been awesome, would have been a good moment, but it didn't,
Yeah. I was always a big Elliot Williams guy.
Yeah.
Could dunk, lefty, powerful. Loved Elliot Williams. And Kendall Marshall was very close to home. He did have a couple great moments in the NBA, but maybe not the
Not with the
long-lasting career I
Sixers.
wanted. And then I was obviously never thought that he would be like great, but thought that JP Tokoto should have had a longer, like a real career, and he didn't, which is a bummer.
And I always loved Isaiah Cannon. And I would argue that 4-point play means that he made it. So it means that he worked out the 4-point play against Golden State. One of the
I'm looking at
greatest
this
process
list.
memories.
I'm looking at this whole list, and it has Matt Koshwal and James Nunnally and Vander Blue and guys that never played in the NBA.
that were
and
never
Isaiah Cannon
actually
is the
on the
worst.
Sixers.
Isaiah Cannon is the worst player on the list by a lot. By a whole
No.
By a
No.
bunch.
You're
Maybe Arnett Moultrie is worse. I'll give you that.
come on.
Ronald Roberts, man, I haven't thought about Ronald Roberts in a while. He
He
should
was
have been
like a
good.
power forward /
Yeah.
center, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This comes from the Sixers Reddit from Humphrey623. How do you feel about the inescapability of gambling promotion when consuming sports content? Do you have any hesitations or concerns about encouraging your listeners to gamble through DraftKings, especially when studies show approximately 1 in 4 sports gamblers experience moderate to severe gambling problems? He cited one study, an Australian study. I don't know that number to be correct, but obviously it is some number. If your advertisements are successful and recruit new customers, it follows that a significant number of those recruits will suffer. I think problem gambling, I work with one of the more famous results of problem gambling in the world, I would argue, and Craig Carton. And I've talked to him a lot about it. I think it is an issue that we and the sports gambling companies should address and should be part of their plan and their culture, absolutely. But I also believe that there are plenty of ways, just like with alcohol or with fucking fried foods or anything else that can be harmful to you. There is a matter of a lot of people can do it responsibly, and there's personal responsibility that is built into it as well. So I actually and I also think the amount of advertising will go down as it becomes sort of normalized. I think you're seeing a lot of it now because states are going legal and these companies are going after each other for market share as states become legal. So I think it'll slow down. I actually think the involvement of the leagues is a little weird, I guess, but it's a revenue stream. I think it's a little strange for the leagues to be involved given the shakiness of if gambling gets to be, involved in the sport in any way, it becomes kind of an issue. But that's all. I certainly thought about it, but I think that DraftKings has also been incredibly supportive of every charitable thing we've ever done, and they seem like good, honest people, at least the ones that I deal with. So I think there's a way to gamble on sports that doesn't cause problems, and I think it's like that with a lot of other sort of personal responsibility issues and decisions you can make in your life. So that's my response to that.
I do think when I'm watching sports and it's like, here's the live line on it, and they pop to for promotional shit. Whenever a TNT broadcast pops to Chuck and Kenny in the studio saying do you think that Russell Westbrook will get a triple double? And then they talk about it, and it's always bet this. It's always very boring, I think. I enjoy gambling, but for some reason, it being so connected to the game itself, makes me feel weird. Maybe it feels clumsy. Maybe is more of the thing that as I'm watching it now. But yeah, that's my bigger thing. Just watching it, being like, I don't know. It feels like rammed in a weird way that should feel like separate. Like you can gamble in the game, but like the game doesn't need to be actively involved in it. You don't have to have like,
Yeah.
Tony, I was gonna say Tony Roden. You don't have to have like a player being like, I think we're gonna beat the spread like during the game. It's like, I don't know, just like have them play and then keep it separate, and the people that will gamble will find it elsewhere. And I don't know, having the game do it is very bizarre to me.
I think what's happening is sort of what happened with fantasy when fantasy became big, in that people who are doing these broadcasts, forgetting about the sponsor element of it, they're like, okay, people are doing this. It's how they're consuming sports. How do we integrate this into what we talk about? And the real true thing is like the best way to integrate it is to just have it be part of how you talk about it, just the same way that, like, I'll never forget going to that Eagles game in Washington where Mike Vick had that enormous fantasy game. He had like 5 touchdowns or something like that. And everybody was just talking about how many fantasy points he had because people played fantasy and they knew about it. And I think like having it as part of the conversation is normal, but I think what they're trying to do is it's not part of the normal part of conversation with a lot of the announcers that are doing it. So they're trying to get it in there because they know the people at home are talking about it, but it doesn't always happen that easily, and it's weird. Like fantasy has become is an enormous part of it. I feel like announcers hardly talk about fantasy anymore. There's a fantasy show or a fantasy segment, and then that ends up being it. So I think they're trying to figure it out. But and if you should only bet what you can afford to lose. Like imagine my advice to anyone who is gambling on sports is make pretend you're spending it. Like if you make pretend you're spending it, this is the money you're spending and not an opportunity to win more, then you will have a lot healthier outlook on how to do it. I know it's not always that easy, but imagine you're going into it assuming that you're going to lose, not assuming that you're going to win. So before we get to the next question, Body Bio, our sponsor, Body Bio. Body Bio makes supplements. They make things that make you healthier. They are a family-owned and operated company in South Jersey, and they basically want to make 2 parts of your body healthier, your brain and your gut, and they do it by going right to the cells. And all of the products that they sell, or all the products that they sell that I've used, have made me feel better and feel healthier in one way or another. This is the way in. I always say this is the way into Body Bio's Elite. You being hydrated is a core thing of you feeling good. And hydration is not just about drinking water. It's about getting the right amount of electrolytes. And typically you're doing that by drinking flavored drinks with artificial flavors, artificial colors, maybe even sugar. Elite is none of that stuff. None of that shit. It's just pure electrolytes. You take a capful, you put it in whatever you're drinking morning and afternoon. And I don't know if it's famous, but I've had fucking cramps in my feet, in my calves, in my thighs all the time. And they literally went away in 24 hours after taking Elite, and I don't get them anymore. It will make you healthier. Along with butyrate, sodium butyrate, which we've talked about, liposomal vitamin C. Body Bio is a great company, trustworthy company that wants to make you healthier. Go to bodybio.com, use code RTRS20. It'll give you 20% off anything. That is bodybio.com, and code is RTRS20. All right, this one comes from Sixers Reddit as well. It comes from Takesman. What is the most insane Sixers trade rumor that you can speak about you've heard through back channels over the years? I don't know if I have a good answer for this. Oh, I have one good answer. That the best offer for Markel Fultz, that wasn't the trade that they took, I think was Anthony Tolliver. I think that's who it was.
Sixer.
Yeah, I believe that was something that I had heard, and it was really put into perspective that the fact that they ended up getting Tyrese Maxey for Markel Fultz. But I don't hear a lot I do hear a lot of things, but I don't hear a lot of trade things. Mike?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I think if you count, Brian Colangelo's burners as a back channel, We heard some stuff from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can't remember. I'm sure I've heard some stuff in the past that didn't come to fruition, but I can't really remember.
From the Ricky Reddit, this comes from Big Holla. What Holla meaning the bread? CHALLAH, not HOLLA. If the team were to line up for a 100-yard dash, who do you think the top 3 finishers would be? Bonus question: how would the same race go for Spike, Mike, and CJ? So,
Maxey's very fast.
yeah,
Traveling Queen is very fast.
yeah.
You
Been a
got
while.
that button.
Yeah.
And then I would say maybe Matisse, depending on the length, because he's got those long strides.
Yeah. That was one thing I was thinking about some of the taller players is that Maxey's stride is going to be so much shorter than like B-Ball Paul's stride. And in a 100-yard dash, maybe not a 40, but a 100-yard dash, does that end up making a big difference? You know? Like, does a guy like Paul Reed beat Maxey because he's got longer strides in a 100-yard dash?
I
No?
don't think so. No. I think Maxey's too fast.
Hmm.
Give me Maxey 1, Trev Queen 2, Matisse 3. Maybe Melton 3. And then
I'm just not convinced that Matisse Thybulle would do anything like
this could be true. He could see
Hard
it
and
like an
fast.
interesting photograph
yeah.
on the way there and stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
take a
He'd be obviously distracted because squirrel in the distance or something like that could distract him. This comes from the Sixers Reddit. Oh, bonus question. How would the same race go for Spike, Mike, and CJ? Well, I can run pretty fast in like a 5K. I've done it in like 21 minutes, which is pretty fast, but I don't know how fast I would be in a 100-yard dash. I'm pretty. Go ahead.
CJ comes on with a grin.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Yeah.
What do
I
we
think
got?
I think I'm pretty explosive. I think
Explosive burst.
Wow.
I think I would take this. I would definitely want to win in a 5K or anything longer distance, but 100 yards, I think I'm coming out on top.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt I would be third in. I would guess CJ, Mike, me in the 100-yard dash, but when it gets longer, I think I can be pretty solid. Mike, your thoughts?
Well, CJ laying down the gauntlet just there.
Could you beat CJ in a 100-yard dash?
Now there's the question.
Oh,
Now that's
boy.
going to be sitting with me. I was robbed of the opportunity to beat Chris Kumaje in a 3-point contest.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this will happen again. I was fooled by the Delaware Blue Coats. And maybe this will be the same thing. CJ's going to pretend like it's a long, and it's like a long jump or something. It's a switcheroo.
We
But
need to add this to the Ricky games.
Yeah.
we'll add it to the combine.
Yeah. A long jump. Maybe triple jump. One of those weird ones. Ricky Reddit. Has CJ not seen his girlfriend's father once since he's supposed to measure him? Is he avoiding it? Emoji.
Not avoiding him. He's excited for his time to come on. We're not ready for it yet. We're not ready. We need
He's
to
getting
build
taller.
up to it.
CJ's getting
I'm not done growing.
He's trying to wring every inch out of it.
I've been working on some stretches and just trying to,
CJ has heard that you're mid to late 20s. There can be one final growth spurt.
The final burst.
Yeah.
you really need to work on your thighs because you can get a couple inches out of that if you just work really hard and set your mind to it.
Stretch you out. CJ hanging from a pole, a high beam or something.
Game of inches.
From the Sixers Reddit, this comes from Douglas Michael. Most irrational Eskin blood feud, Spike versus JJ or Howard versus Maury? I don't feel like there is a Howard versus Maury feud, is there? It's just Howard versus every coach and GM. I don't think that the Maury is any different.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it doesn't seem to bother Maury that much. Did you see the Ben Simmons tweet, speaking of my father?
Someone sent, Sixers Adam sent it to me, actually. I did see it.
Stunning. I don't even know how to So for anyone not paying attention to this, my parents, one of their dogs passed away this week. Jack, may he rest in peace. A good boy, was 15 years old, lived a good life. And it certainly is hitting my parents hard, as it would. I've mentioned many times that when Rebel passes, that'll be the last you see of me. I'll be done for. And my dad tweeted about Jack, and Ben Simmons responded saying, sorry for your loss, Howard, and a prayer emoji. And it really was a stunning moment in that Ben doesn't seem to react to anything on Twitter. And then my father thanking him for sending his message. I honestly...
this I didn't see. And then Ben retweeting that message is interesting. I mean...
Oh, did he?
Ben's that's what CJ is posting right now. He's showing us.
Oh, yeah.
Ben's a dog guy.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's weird.
Just crossing the lines of rivalries and hate.
Yep, dogs are the ones. If anyone can solve the Howard Eskin Ben Simmons feud, it is dogs. So
it is a small, kind dog tweet gesture.
Yep. It was a very nice gesture from Ben Simmons. I couldn't help but thinking that there was strategy behind it. But I've never, I think at one point I had mentioned that I felt bad on some level for Ben Simmons because of his actions are indefensible, but he's clearly going through it, like in a lot of ways, and has over the last couple of years. And it doesn't make him a bad person, and certainly can make him a bad teammate, but it doesn't make him a bad person, I guess. But good tweet, I guess. From the Ricky Reddit, this comes from PHL John 76. Can you talk about the economics of the podcast? What percentage of Mike's income is from Rights to Ricky Sanchez ads?
Oh, let's open the books.
You specifically.
Here, just give me everyone's emails and I will attach my tax return as a PDF. I'll just slap it right on there. What percentage of my income is the podcast?
I wouldn't answer that.
Okay.
Can I answer it this way? This way, in terms of the economics of the podcast, I would say that there is significant revenue that comes in from the podcast, but not enough for any of us to be our career. It's not nothing. It's definitely not nothing. And by the way, everybody gets paid here. CJ gets paid, Alonzo gets paid, AU gets paid, Adam gets paid, Abby gets paid, Tanner, everybody gets paid. So, there's plenty of charitable donations and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not saying it's nothing. It's definitely not nothing. So,
yeah, I pull in $5 million from the podcast probably a year. So of my full income, that's probably
20%.
I have to get a calculator out.
It's not nothing. Work hard.
No, it's not. I love it.
It's nice to make some money from it. It's also nice to be able to pay people to do stuff. So everything's nice. And I love our sponsors. Our sponsors are all good to us. So this comes from Sixers Reddit from Metaverse Ninja. Oh boy, right up a guy up your alley. Mike, why is nobody talking about DeAnthony Melton? Every substantial Grizz player gave a heartfelt social media farewell. They all seem to love him. Additionally, he was instrumental in their pristine record without Ja. Have we had a better six-man since Lou Will? Additionally, Spike, what will it take for you to not wear a hat for an entire episode? Well, first from DeAnthony Melton, I feel like we talked plenty about DeAnthony Melton, right?
He's one of my favorite players in modern NBA history. I love him. I've always loved him. This trade, it was a bummer to trade a draft pick. That's always close to home, especially a draft pick that became David Roddy. But this made the offseason for me. The PJ Tucker is, if it was just PJ Tucker and Dan House, it would not be as good. This was an incredible move. He's going to fit in wonderfully. He is one of my ultimate guys. I don't think I could talk about it anymore. I might never stop talking about it.
Well, certainly not until
I'm going to move in with DeAnthony Melton to prove that I can talk about it forever.
Yeah, I think we talked about, and no, they haven't had a better six man since Lou Will.
But and
Right?
before Lou Williams, a sixth man that could capably play defense. Like I'm
Yeah.
trying to. We looked at it, and it's just not. You have to go like very far back, like Aaron McKee before he started, like kind of thing.
Additionally, Spike, what will it take for you not to wear a hat for an entire episode? There's been plenty of episodes where I didn't wear hats. I actually have good hair and like my hair. I just don't like the way it looks on video for some reason. So that's why I wear hats. I don't mind how it looks in pictures, but in video, I just don't like it. But if you go back through the episodes, there are episodes without me wearing a hat. And finally, also, can we get 5 basketball takes from CJ? Great dude, but I don't think I've heard him say one NBA-related opinion ever. CJ, can we just get one take from you? You don't need to do
five
five.
is ridiculous. But like, what are the kind of basketball watcher and opinion haver you are?
Yeah, so I did see this question and I thought about it, and I feel like most of my takes fall in line with the two of you most times. So it would be pretty annoying if I were just to pop in every time and be like, well, actually, and then just say the take that has already been said a lot. So I just don't say much.
Are you more of a Spike guy or a Mike guy?
I think it flips. I'm gonna play both
answer.
sides. I'm gonna play
Yeah.
both sides.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer.
Only one of us is matching your face right now, so that's an interesting choice that we wouldn't pick that guy.
My one take that after it happened, I was like, fuck, I'm stupid, was I was sure that Jimmy was going to Miami to retire. Like I thought that team was going to be awful. I didn't think they were going to do anything.
Yeah.
And then they did. So
Seems to have worked out.
Yeah.
Big Barker. You know, we mentioned dogs. We mentioned Ben and my parents' dog. Big Barker is a trusted sponsor of the Ricky. They make beds that make your dog healthier. It's just a fact. Been proven. BigBarker.com/Ricky. Go to BigBarker.com/Ricky to get your Big Barker dog bed with the Process Pup patches. I've been reminding people because I actually saw the process like a couple weeks ago. But when you go there and you get the Process Pup patches, they show up as $8. But when you go to checkout, they are free. The difference between Big Barker and a dog bed that you see in a store or another Instagram ad or something is everything. Like the difference is literally everything. The difference is that Big Barker is a real bed, a real mattress that is designed by experts, engineered to make your dog healthier. And when I say healthier, I mean your dog's joints, your dog's comfort. As your dog ages, the joints get creaky, just like with humans. And the more supportive a mattress that the dog is laying on, the better it's going to be. And this is for young dogs too. You know, young dogs need to be comfortable when they sleep. And I know that those dog beds you see at the store, I know they look comfortable, but they're really just pillows. You don't want to sleep on a pillow. You want to sleep on a mattress. And that's what Big Barker is. In dogs over 50 pounds, up to 80% of them develop arthritis as they age. You have to ease that. And you do that with a Big Barker. Now I say Big Barker. Rebel sleeps on a Big Barker. Rebel's not a big dog. He is 40 pounds. They have Big Barkers for every dog size, even little ones. There's the Barker Jr. And they look nice. You know, they're not going to look bad in your bedroom, not going to look bad in your living room, like a lot of those ridiculous looking dog beds. 10-year warranty. The foam doesn't flatten or they replace it for free. I know the bed isn't cheap, but it's worth it. And that's why they give you a 10-year warranty, a 1-year at-home trial. If you don't like it, if your dog doesn't like it, they will give you a full refund and pay for the shipping. Handmade in the USA. Big Barker dog beds. Ooh, that's a good one. I feel like we haven't had a real good one like that in a while.
Tried to switch it up. Can we talk about the Mike Muscala thing?
The tweet that CJ
there's a
sent
second
us?
one. I just sent it to tweet. I sent it to you.
Okay.
Shout out to Mitch in my DMs who is screenshotting Mike Muscala's dad's tweets
Okay.
and sending them to me.
Let me look at it while we're talking again.
So I sent CJ a second one, but the second one is harder to discern. I don't really understand what it means. But the first one is Mike Muscala, his father, Bob Muscala, who for some reason spells his name wrong.
Yes,
his
with
own-
a K.
Yes, in his own Twitter handle, he spells his name wrong, which I think is interesting.
Well, he was always seemed a little unhinged online.
Well, let's see what the tweets say. In response to it, someone tweeting, "Bring Muscala home for our title run." Muscala responds, and this is not tagged or anything. This is him finding the Muscala and going and tweeting it. With the way Elton treated him / me? ? Not a chance. 6
dots.
6 ellipses.
Yeah, an ellipsis is only 3 dots, by the way.
Right. He went 3 heavier than the regular one.
Yeah,
he
so
make it seem.
he's really saying there's more of a story there.
Yeah. And so the way that Elton treated him / me, the / me is a really delightful part. Every parent probably thinks that the organization did their child wrong in some way. That's what a parent is. You're allowed to be biased. But the / me is the part I like a lot, very much.
I do believe that I was the person that alerted the organization to the bad Muscala tweets. Like I believe, and I wonder if Bob Muscala got like a pissed off Elton Brand phone call. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I love that.
Okay, so
and then the response to another tweet after that is, even the Sixers don't like the Sixers. It's a Philly thing, and that's just right. That's correct. That's fine. Sometimes you're gonna nail it, Bob Muscala with a K, and that I got nothing against that. And then the second tweet, CJ, that I just sent you. Okay, I truly don't understand it. I don't know. He took a screenshot of relevant people.
Okay.
He is
I can't
one of
read
them.
It.
On Twitter, it's like one of the
there we go.
One of the like, hey, you should also follow something. Relevant people. It's him and someone else who is a Thunder fan.
Okay.
And then of that screenshot, he says, Mike gonna throw game on opening night versus T-Wolves, just like he did versus Heat, so 76ers could get Maxey. Muscala fam got big money for dat one for sure.
Well, that's a weird thing to say.
It's a very weird thing to say. I mean, I guess opening night versus T-Wolves that's who the Thunder are playing currently.
Okay.
We can check that. But just like he did versus the Heat, so the Sixers could get Maxey. But he
didn't throw the game.
He didn't throw. He won
shot.
The game.
Yeah.
He hit 2 shots in the last minute, so that the Sixers could get Maxey. So that's the opposite of throwing the game. Throwing the game generally means losing it on purpose. And then saying that the whole family has big money on that one. I mean, I'm sure he's joking in some way. He's not saying that, but I struggle to find what the joke is or what
and why
angle he's approaching a joke from. And then screenshotting himself is odd. So maybe we bring Mike Muscala back. It'll get some more content from his dad. Maybe we get Mike Muscala's dad in the Tom Selleck shirt that me and CJ are wearing.
There you go. Now we're really cooking with gas with this. So
my dad, CJ's girlfriend's dad,
yep,
and Mike Muscala's dad
in a Magnum PI style shirt. Yeah,
with me and CJ on it.
Right.
Right. They're wearing a shirt of me and CJ.
Correct.
Wearing it
on the shirt. You're right. Mm-hmm. From the Ricky Reddit, this comes from JoeCab77. What's Maxey's realistic ceiling and floor? Well, floor is what he is currently, right? I mean,
there's certainly a world as far as like possible outcomes where
his shooting regresses a little bit.
His shooting, last year was more of a blip. I don't think it is. I think it's legitimate. I think that he works his ass off.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to shoot like over 40% for his career. But yeah, the idea that last year was a little bit more of a blip, and he's like if he's a career like 34% 3-point shooter and isn't big enough to finish at the rim very, very well and never improves on defense. So there's a possibility that player would be more of a sixth man type. Mm-hmm. If he never doesn't improve as a shooter, doesn't improve as a distributor, I think, like, cause that to me is I think the defense is gonna be fine. He's always gonna be small, but I think he's not gonna get pushed around as much, and he's gonna like settle down and not bite on stuff. But the biggest part of his game to develop for me is his passing, is his driving to pass, his vision, finding guys. I think a lot of times when he plays with Harden, they're not asking him to do that. They're saying go score, go be faster than everybody else, get to the rim. And then ceiling wise, I saw people talking about it. Like, it's not Steph Curry, obviously. Some people have said that it is. It's not. But I think ceiling is like ceiling. This would require more leaps, obviously, but like close to what Dame is. That's, I mean, we're talking about like the 1% outcome as far as like a really, really impossible to stop shooter. Dame's a way better passer right now than there was at the same time that Tyrese is.
And a deadly shooter, Dame is. I mean,
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But as far as like continuing to improve, like that's kind of for someone that is that young to improve that quickly at that position, that's kind of the path he would be on for if this only keeps going up. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's ever going to be as good as Dame was. But I think on the road to that is still a very, very good player. And if the shot stays high 30s, then we're in business.
I struggle to find an accurate comp for him. I think the idea of being as good as Lillard, who you could have argued is one of like the 7 best players in the NBA, seems very, very 1% to me, you know? But then again, I don't remember Dame Lillard when he was, you know, Tyrese Maxey's age at all, really. So it's tough because he's a tough player because he's not a great distributor yet. So it's sort of hard to nail him without knowing where that goes. I'm actually going to sort of abstain because I just don't know a good answer to it. I think this year will tell a lot about, you know, his future. Like if he takes another big leap, then all of a sudden I think you can start talking about those things, but I'd like to see another one before that happens.
Yeah. There's some charts and graphs that show like what Dame was his first 2 seasons and what Maxey was his first 2 seasons. It's not, I've said this before, but like people get stuck in like where players were drafted. Maxey could have absolutely gone, Dame went 6 in 2012. Maxey absolutely could have gone 6th in that draft. Had a weird year at Kentucky, which happens to guys. They always get their stock pushed down when you know, Calipari forces them off ball and they don't have other shooters around them, so there's not as much space. But so if Maxey had gone 6th in that draft and was where he was, people would consider him like, oh, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to, rather than where the Sixers got him, which still feels like found money, which I don't disagree with. But yeah, I mean, Dame wasn't the shooter that he is now coming out. He also shot his first 2 years. I'm just looking. Dame shot his first 2 years 47% from 2 and under 45% from 2, and then the rest of his career he was at 50 or above 50. So he really, really improved his shooting on 2s.
Well,
he's helpful pretty much.
He gets to the rim so well and finishes so well, you know. And then the 3-point shooting, the thing about it, percentages and volume aside, he shoots from so far away, which it makes him great too. It's just like I know we're talking ceiling. It's just, boy, that's a high ceiling
for sure. Absolutely, 100%.
From Jimbo Squat on Sixers Reddit, if you could choose today, who is your general manager, Hinkie or Morey?
Well, Sam's out there fixing email, so I don't know how keyed in to the modern goings on of the league he is. I mean, it's Daryl. I think that's pretty clear. I would have loved to see. I think that's the thing, is we just didn't get to see Sam as a GM of a good team or a team that was trying to win now. So like seeing what those moves on the fringes would have been like would have been cool. But I think, you know, Sam had his taste and got the fuck out and is almost certainly never coming back. And, you know, He's a weird guy. I like him.
Sam himself is like a process player that didn't work out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that never really got the opportunity, ended up getting hurt his third year after we saw a lot of promise. I think if you could ask me right now, I would also pick Morey. Now, if you wanted somebody, if you were like, who do you want every 4 months to suggest some weird finance podcast on Twitter and call that person a great thinker, I would say, hey, Sam is my guy for that. But for basketball GM, I would currently pick Morey. For jeweler, I would pick LL Pavorsky. LL Pavorsky Jewelers.
Team jeweler.
Yep. He reached out to me when I started talking about, what's it called? Fly the Process. Lee is texting me, not asking me where it's going to be, but trying to hint that he deserves to know. Look, he was the original sponsor of the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. 291. We're up to 291 Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners have purchased engagement rings from LL Pavorsky Jewelers. And he reminds me that 291 showed up and bought one and did not have an appointment. He wants to express to everyone, if you're coming in to buy an engagement ring, have an appointment. Definitely have an appointment. He might not even let you in. That's what he's suggesting right now. The reason is he wants to be able to commit the time and effort to you that you deserve if you're going to come in and do something like buy an engagement ring. So reach out to him first, whether it's the phone, email, whatever. Phone is 215-627-2252. Email is lee@llpavorsky.com, or you can even tweet at him at llpavorsky. Been at 707 Walnut for over 30 years. Has been a believer in the Ricky ever since you could believe in the Ricky, actually, even. He wanted to sponsor us before we were even allowed anyone to sponsor us. And yes, even Mike purchased an engagement ring from LL Pavorsky Jewelers. Were you ever in the store, or did you do it all virtually?
Oh, I was in the store, baby. I was in there.
Candy?
In there.
Chocolate?
Candy. I don't think I had any. I think Alyssa might have had some.
Bottle of water?
I was there right before the Christmas Cabana Christmas party, which was a bummer.
The Cabana thing is this summer.
Nope. For me, it's Cabana all year round. It was December 2019.
There you go. LL, he is your person. He's your jeweler. No one, you're not. If you're a Ricky listener, you're not allowed to go to anybody else. Again, 215-627-2252 or email lee@llpavorsky.com. Also, a sponsor of the Providence Animal Center Bark in the Park Run team. Also, a supporter of our newest charity, Mama T's Community Fridge. Mike's choice for the next however long it is. That is LL Pavorsky Jewelers.
Usually do the voice.
LL Pavorsky Jewelers.
That's right. 75% of my yearly income.
This comes from Sixers Reddit. Ricky Reddit. How many players on the starting roster will be on the roster by playoffs? Has Shake's role been made redundant by the Melton acquisition? Those are two separate questions. I don't know what the starting roster is.
Shake is definitely a better scorer than Melton is with the ball in his hands. And, yeah, a better shooter with the ball in his hands, that kind of thing. So, interested to see Shake with a healthy year. Really had a tough year last year. Hoping that he can put it together this year and just be very good. My kind of feeling, based on absolutely nothing, is that a consolidation, I would say minor for the public, but major for us, consolidation trade happens before the end of the month.
Really?
In the next week or so. Yeah, this feels like the dead times. This is around the time that the Andrew Bynum trade happened. It's just like the kind of like, all right, vacation's over, but before Labor Day, like I think this week or the next week is when a trade will happen. And so it'll be like, whether that's Matisse and Korkmaz or something like that for one, or people, or yeah, I think it will, or they go into the roster. They just go like, actually, as much as I love him, he didn't have a good summer league, so maybe Trevelyan Queen just shouldn't make the roster.
Oh,
Press the
no.
button. I think the summer league, his role in summer league was like he was just trying to do too much, and I think he can absolutely fill in when he's not the best player there. And I trust the how good he was in the G League and how much effort he shows on the defensive end and in full court. To where like, yeah, he didn't have a good summer league, but like we still know who he is, and he still can be an NBA player.
And as far as Shake's role being made redundant by Melton at the acquisition, God forbid we have more than one guard off the bench who is capable. I hope not. Like there's not enough players on the team for you to say that like if they're both performing to their capabilities, we have use for both Shake Melton and DeAnthony Melton, I would say.
Yeah, totally.
From Sixers Reddit, this comes from EEEETEA. Doc Rivers is fired, but you can only choose one of the following to take his place. Who do you pick? Adam Silver, Bill Simmons, Rich Paul, or Brian Colangelo's wife?
Just trying to envision a scenario where these would be the only options.
Right. And I mean, it's clearly Brian Colangelo's wife. For
That's
content,
going to be interesting.
I don't want Rich Paul.
I mean, Rich might be the answer just for like people. It's a pretty obvious conflict of interest, and so I guess so is Adam.
Yes,
It's not Bill.
No,
Bill would be in last place for sure. Colangelo's wife would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Rich Paul would be tampering.
Imagine if the first female NBA head coach is Brian Colangelo's wife.
Yeah.
What a story. Are you serious?
Those DraftKings odds are pretty long.
Pretty far, yeah.
You have to get down the long list for there. Yeah. Not Bill. David Stern basically ran the Hornets at the time.
Yeah,
So
well, he was.
Why couldn't Adam
Chris
Silver
Paul
coach the Sixers?
Sure, why not? It would. Yes, absolutely. Especially when given the choice of four, the league says you have to pick from these four.
Yeah, but they say they interviewed 75 candidates.
Mm-hmm.
We interviewed everybody we could find, and it turns out we hired the commissioner.
This comes from Lowell Extrovert. Tyrese Maxey will be eligible for his rookie extension after this upcoming season. Do you guys expect him to get the full max? He's going to have to.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have to. Yeah. I don't know what the salary cap implications of that are, especially with the possibility or even likelihood of Harden opting out of that second year and taking a bigger. Obviously, I think it would have to come with Tobias Harris being elsewhere. From a. I don't know anything about tax stuff or whatever, but I imagine that would be a lot of money to have all those guys on the books. From RTRS21, had Ben been traded instead of Jimmy, would the Sixers have won a championship? The hard part is not knowing what they get for Ben.
Say they got Josh Richardson for Ben.
Okay. I say
they would
no.
have been able to get more, but yeah, I think they would have. I think they would have at least gotten to the conference finals with Jimmy and Embiid and Tobias. Honestly, the Horford thing would have made more sense with those guys there. Still not a ton of sense, but more sense. So
I think that the thing to remember is that the Sixers do not and have not in recent memory had an organizational culture that can deal with somebody like Jimmy Butler. And here's the one instance that I will point to. Last year, 2 weeks before the playoffs, in full view of a camera, Jimmy Butler told the coach he wanted to fight him in Miami. And then, what's his fuck? The guy's been there 20 years.
Udonis Haslem
Udonis Haslem said that he was going to beat the fuck out of Jimmy Butler. Now, if that happens here in Philadelphia, the entire season unravels. There's just like, I know Heat culture is a little bit of a myth, but like there's something to having a strong organizational culture that knows who it's standing behind to withstand something like Jimmy. And I just don't think you need other leadership there. And the Sixers do not have it and have not had it. And I think Embiid would have wilted. Like Jimmy can't be like your centerpiece in that way. He's too volatile.
I think in this world, you got to figure Embiid and Jimmy are of a piece. They're on the same side. Now,
until they're not, though. Until they're not. You know,
imagining Doc coaching Jimmy is funny to me. I think Jimmy would disembowel him. But yeah, I do think, I mean, obviously it could go wrong because, people grind on people, especially like Jimmy. But if Jimmy and Embiid are on the same side and Ben is gone, then like there's no other factions really. And so it would just be like, here is the tone, here's who is setting the tone, and everybody kind of like fall in line.
But I think guys like Jimmy find opposition internally. Like I think it's part of what drives him, it's part of what makes him. I'm not saying it's impossible to win a championship with Jimmy on the team. I just don't think this, obviously, and we've said it before, and hindsight is difficult on this one because you don't know what happens with Ben eventually. Hindsight is what it is. You keep Jimmy and you don't keep Ben. Like that, I think that's pretty clear.
That's obvious.
Yeah, I have trouble believing it would have ended in a championship, but who knows?
Yeah, I just think they'd get out of the fucking second round for the first fucking time in 20 fucking years.
I agree. From Philadelphia 76, you and Mike seem very irritated by each other during some recordings, almost to the point of being uncomfortable to listen to. I realize you've been doing this podcast for years, but do you ever talk about outside the pod about how to improve it for the sake of the listener?
I think people like the friction sometimes.
Yeah. I think if you add it all up, it's mostly not friction. And to that point, I agree. I think people like it sometimes. And to that point, like what I always say to people, this is about hosting a sports radio show, but it definitely tracks with this. Take your best friend in the world and talk to them for like fucking 3 hours a week and disagree with them constantly about sports and tell me every once in a while you aren't going to fucking want to kill them sometimes. Like obviously you will. I've argued with friends about sports and it gotten heated. Like it's just what happens. It's not a big deal.
I will kill CJ right now. Bring him here. I'll beat his ass in a race and I'll stab him in the fucking gut.
I think it's pretty impressive we've made it this far, to be quite honest with you.
I don't know how many other podcasts are doing almost 10 years.
Yeah, that's a pretty long time. This comes from not electrocuted yet. Couple questions. What incentives do you think would work for mid-season tournament, and which Sixer would be the best serial killer? Mid-season tournament,
now I'm just imagining someone on the Sixers serial killing at the midseason tournament. The questions asked together seem like they're related.
One thing that people keep saying with an incentive for a midseason tournament is some sort of like draft pick or cap relief or something. That does not work. It does not work. You have to motivate the players, not the organization.
I think it should give you, you can choose your opponent if you make the playoffs. If you win
the midseason tournament,
If you win the midseason tournament, you can pick who you want your first round matchup to be.
I think that's a good one. I think money is always a good one. Players
that's what
like
the WNBA is. They have the Commissioner's Cup this year, and it was just giving them money, which is cool. That's a little that's definitely helpful for the players, obviously. A little less sexy for the fans,
right,
as far as
what they're getting,
what you're watching to be incentivized by. I think I've always been attracted to the idea of in the same way that the All-Star game was, at least for a little bit, made more exciting when the players started drafting, like you're like picking sides in a pickup game kind of thing. and seeing and the drama of who they pick or who they don't pick or who they pass up or who's the last pick, Rudy Gobert, that kind of thing. I think some team deciding, say, imagine like the Clippers or whatever, deciding we want to rather than the like, oh, we're just resting our players the last week of the season, like we're trying to fall into the right one. If you actually had like, we announced that we want to face this team, like I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That could be dramatic and fun.
I think it would be incredible. I like the idea of picking a team to play against. I think you were talking in the last pod in terms of divisions and rivalries and stuff. Dude, if you want to start a rivalry, pick a team and have that team win.
For sure.
Like you'd have a rivalry forever. It would be awesome. It'd make for great drama on television as well. And Sixer, that would be the best serial killer. Now, I assume by best, do we mean most interesting or most successful?
My hot take is that I don't find serial killers interesting. I think this society has started to move past it. This isn't like 5 years ago when everyone was like obsessed with the true crime wave and stuff. Yeah. But I think generally we as a whole are like too interested in these like very pathetic, fucked up people, and that like there's this imagination that like all of them are smart or something, and that all of them have like something inherently interesting about them, when it's really just they're just out here killing people, and that's dumb. That's dumb to do.
I actually don't like true crime stuff. I remember the moment that it hit me. I was listening to some podcast about two women that adopted a bunch of kids, and the end of the podcast was just them driving them off a fucking cliff somewhere.
They did an Atlanta episode based on that. It was very, very messed up.
And I was like, at the end of it, I was like, all right, certainly an interesting story, I guess. But I was like, who is this benefiting? Like,
it's like
it feels predatory.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think it just serves to make people scared of everybody. And it's like, most people aren't doing this.
Right. I think now, all that to say, who would make the most successful serial killer on the Sixers?
I might say Jimmy. I know he's not on the team anymore, but he's maniacal in a way that could have a kill list.
PJ Tucker.
No, he's out here eating pancakes.
He seems. Daniel House is sneaky. He made people think he had sex when somebody else had sex.
Yeah, I would kill DeAndre Jordan if he stepped on the court for the Sixers ever again.
And the final question, and I'll go to the Reddits and answer whatever we didn't get to. I'll do my best, except for the ones telling me what a fucking idiot I am, or I'm the Colangelo of sports radio, or yada yada.
CJ, pull those up.
Yeah, there was one. The guy that called me Colangelo Sports Radio was like, "What about your take about Jimmy Butler being a fake superstar and LeBron? The Sixers should stay away from LeBron." I'm like, man, you're just hanging on every word, aren't you, buddy? And I would argue I was right about LeBron. So, all right, final one from Lane Can't Lay Off Juice. When you pee, do you fully wash your hands every time? Or sometimes, if you don't get any piss on them, do you just do a quick rinse, no soap, or skip the washing altogether? Now, this is honesty time for everybody.
Absolutely. Sometimes quick rinse. Sometimes you just it's a quick rinse, you're fine. I do at least do something every time. And when I see people that don't, it's like, come on. I think especially in a public place. When you're at home, whatever. Who are you trying to prove?
I would say that sometimes if I'm in a particularly disgusting bathroom and I don't want to touch anything, like if I'm then I will not do anything, because I feel like the best thing I can do is just keep to myself. Most times.
You think the soap is contaminated?
Well, but then I have to touch the sink again, and I have to touch the thing with the soap. Like there are some concert venues and bars where I've been to a place, like I won't mention the concert venues in Philly, but there are a couple where I look in there and I'm like, look, my goal is to have my hands not touch anything in here. And I'm going to touch my zipper and my pants. Maybe even I'll touch my wiener, But
Wow.
I'm not going to get a piss on. I'm not going to touch anything. But most times I do a quick wash.
We're going to get CJ's piss take right here. He's
Yeah.
finally here. Here we go. He's
Yeah,
ready to take a stand.
The thing that stands out to me is this question inferring that some people will regularly pee on themselves? Sometimes if you don't get any piss on your hands, does that mean sometimes you are?
Sure.
I never
Yeah.
pee on my hands personally.
No.
Wow.
That's my hot take.
Batting 1,000.
Yeah. CJ's like, look, the end of my dick is so far from me.
That's it.
Wait.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You think it's on the front end? You think you're just having your hand out and you're just, oh no. Shit. Look, sometimes even if you win a Gold Glove, sometimes you make a couple errors. So shout out to that guy for peeing on himself sometimes.
Oh, we got a comment on YouTube. I saw Spike in the Wells Fargo Center bathrooms and can confirm he used the sink. There we go.
Wow.
I love it. Thank God. All
A
right.
paid commenter.
Yep. It's that guy's 50% of his income is me paying him for this podcast.
That's good.
All right. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you for all the questions. Are you done with TTP?
Yeah. You know Lickface.